Well, it's time again. This is Jessie Bowen, and you are listening to and watching, because this is also a podcast and video podcast, to the Become an Author podcast. Now, I'm here today with my amazing co-host, and she is the lady that makes it all happen here for us at Elite Publication, and to become an international best-selling author, Natalie McQueen. Hey, Natalie.
Hey there. Hi, Jessie. How's it going?
It's going great. We've just been having so much excitement going on. Yesterday was National Authors Day. You couldn't believe the number of people that have said to me, a National Author Day, is that real? But it is real. And we really tried to get this information out yesterday to all of our folks to publicize that they're authors, for them to share in that excitement with us on National Authors Day.
Yes, I loved seeing the authors just claiming it and saying, I wrote a book. I'm super excited about, getting my message out there to the world. And what I love is when I looked into National Authors Day, I saw that there was a really cool history. So we made a little presentation. So should I bring that up now?
Yeah, let's show it to everyone. And before we start, we got a special guest. Do not leave today, because after we finish showing this, we have Lynn Sanders on, and she is a guest. She's an author. She's a coach. This is our power tip. So don't leave us. Hang on. We're going to be doing some great things here. All right. It's all yours, Natalie.
All right. So we kind of went through here. And we talked about National Authors Day was yesterday. And how did this all come about? Well, every year, millions of people celebrate being inspired by authors, reaching out to their favorite authors, being educated behind the scenes by authors, and in workshops, in schools. And National Authors Day is where every author should know that they're appreciated for the dedication and time it takes, putting a book together and getting it out to the world. Do you want to share a little bit about that, how Elite works with our authors?
Well, yeah. So one of the things that we always start with is just a desire. So if you're someone and you say, well, this Authors Day sounds pretty good, now, I've always thought about writing a book. What is it I need to do? Well, the very first thing you need to do is understand that, just to have an understanding that your experience or what you want to share may be one of those powerful tools that can make a difference in the lives of a lot of people. And this is where we get started at Elite, is helping you to be able to formalize that idea and then be able to break it down to form a plan. And this is what we do with our authors. And this is what's been so exciting. And, this year is our really first big year of celebrating. And we're going to be celebrating all month long in November about authors, who they are, introducing authors, and really bringing together a powerful program for being able to do that. So if you are interested in becoming an author, so the first thing you want to do is contact Elite Publications, and that's www.elitepublications.org, or just contact us at info@elitepublications.org, so we can get you started. And as Natalie's going to be sharing some of these people that we're already working with and what they need to do, what you need to do to become familiar with that. So back to you, Natalie.
Okay. Well, the first National Authors Day was recognized November 1st of 1928. And it was by Nellie Verne Burt McPherson. And she was a passionate reader and a teacher. And she really recognized that authors didn't get the kind of the celebration, the recognition that they deserved. So she started this, and she did it to celebrate authors for 20 years on her own, until 1949, the United States Department of Congress officially said, let's make it National Authors Day and celebrate. And here's a picture. I could not find a very good picture, but here is the lady that started this whole thing and really had a passion for celebrating authors.
Natalie, that's what we really need to talk about for a second. One person with a passion about reading. She would read. I mean, in fact, I was contacted by one of her, I think it's her granddaughters, who saw my post that we were celebrating National Authors Day and sent me a text. I couldn't believe it, thanking me for continuing to support National Authors Day, and how that as their grandmothers, she would read to them. But it was really exciting to realize that you're doing something for someone that started something and you are supporting that, and a family member reaches out to you and say, thank you. This is the whole thing about becoming an author. You really don't know whose life you are impacting. I know, Natalie, you've had that experience that with your book, you were talking about it last week, how someone, through your book was about your story, but how someone else generated, some emotional feelings behind your book.
Absolutely. And talk about a legacy. Look at what she started on her own, doing it for 20 years, then got national recognition. And her daughter is definitely carrying it on. So that's awesome, because me and legacy, I love hearing the stories. Whoops, I went a little too fast there. So we want to just do an amazing little tribute to some of our authors that we know have been dedicated to put the time and energy in to publish, and then to continue reaching out and getting their message to the world. So Jessie, do you want to introduce our Jessica?
Well, we got Jessica Phillips. Of course, Jessica Phillips is a part of the Elite Publications team. So you're working here. Why not produce a book? And that's the amazing part is, the things that she's a minister. And so her book is about, be dope. And that's, about prayer, and it's a journal. So, Jessica is one of those phenomenal people, and congratulations, Jessica, on your book. Again, we salute you.
Absolutely. And then I'm going to let you take over on this one, because I think you have a little bit more.
Well, listen, all we do around here is write books. This is what we do. Yeah, so listen here, big shout out to my wife, Dr. Gwendolyn Bowen. She's got 3 books out. She's in the ministry. She's she's just an amazing person. And so she's got 3 books out, and each one of her books, I'm not going to talk about everybody's book, but I do want to share, each one of her books is really about a stage of her life. She has one book that's called My Soul Cries Out, and that was about losing someone in her life and the impact of it. And the book is called My Soul Cries Out. And then she has another book, which is a journal, which is 30 Days Me and God. And her book she released last year, that book is a phenomenal book, and it's called Do Not Give Up in Your Storm. So when you're going through the storm of life, so she's written a book from a spiritual place to motivate you to keep moving forward. So anyone that's out there listening to us and you have something's happened in your life, that's why I said the book came out, My Soul Cries Out. That was a way for her to deal with it, was about writing and connecting spiritual scriptures that helped her move through that. We all experience loss, and we all have different impacts of how it will affect our lives. So that became a great book. And again, the daily journaling is a powerful tool. But, when you're going through something, what do you do? when you're going through, don't give up. We call it, well, people have mental issues. Well, these mental issues develop because of how they're thinking and feeling.
Yep. All right. Congratulations, Gwen. That's amazing. And this is what I love, that we get the time to highlight authors. Like Lynn is going to come on soon, and she's going to share with us about her books that she's helped and stories that she's helped people get out to the world. This is Robert W. Jones. I've worked very close with Robert over the last couple of years, and he is just a wonderful entrepreneur and has put out The Art of Connection, and it's 365 days of inspiration. Inspiration was last year, and then the upcoming book is Transformation. And so it's going to be coming out hopefully first week of December. So that's exciting. And then I'll let you talk about.
We have Kevin. This is our latest #1 book, and it's called Till the Last. And with this book, with Kevin and Craig and Todd and all of their group, this has turned out to be a phenomenal book. This is a memoir of someone talking about their life experience in the Cambodian conflict. And so he's writing about all these things he's kept trapped on the inside for years. And now he's come out with put it into a book. It made an Amazon #1 bestseller. It made the #1 hot releases in 7 different categories, and #1 release in 21 categories. So 7 in the US, 11 in Canada, and 3 in Australia.
Yeah, they did phenomenal. And it's such a touching book, and you could see the passion and how he wanted to get his story out. So that it was really nice to work with this group. And then Thomas was amazing to work with. This is his 2nd book, I think it was. And
Sticks and Stones.
Yeah, he's kind of put a bunch of stories and pulled in martial arts and kind of detective, and it's very exciting. And he did wonderful as well. He had 23 hot new releases and 22 #1 bestsellers.
And this is more of a fiction book, his creative stories. And so we're not just talking about, a book of, well, let's write something to help someone solve a problem, but we're also talking about books that will help our imagination. So we all have fantasies and we think about things. So, you may have a fantasy of someone that plays in your head of yourself as a private detective, race car driver, great. In your mind, you can be anything. But you transfer this into, a fiction book where, you're sharing a story that someone else can get an enjoyment out of. This is where a lot of our movies come from, or from books that are, not really true things, but there are things that someone has put together that will entertain us and make us pay millions of dollars at the box office.
Oops, absolutely. And then this is Buddy Thornton. He has a book series of 12 books, and 2 of them are published. So we've got 10 more to come, but he is such an expert in, this one was The Optimal Journey. The Slippery Slope is his series, and The Optimal Journey to Oneself. And this is the Teen and Youth Adult Edition. So Buddy is just a wealth of knowledge in relationships and in I'm trying to think of the title of the one coming up, and I can't, but it's all about your vision of the world and how you see it, and we will find out much more.
Well, and the thing about this book, Natalie, just taking a moment to touch on these since we're doing it, is that, with Buddy's book, it's not one book. Writing a book is like getting tattoos. I don't have any tattoos. But, this is what I hear people saying, is that you write one book, then you do the next book So, I've written 30 books, Buddy's got 10 books slotted for it to be happening. That's not, but that sort of thing you have. And again, you look at it from a revenue place. So, if I can get people to go online and buy my books, and every month that I get a check from Amazon or from Barnes and Noble or whomever for my book sales, that's what we're talking about doing, is creating revenue I didn't have to go out and work for. So if I look at it from my own purpose, and I want to get something out that will help people, but if I look at, again, from, I want to prosper from my books. So, now I write that the impact is from my books, plus the other impact of the other things my books help me to be able to do.
Absolutely. And what was really fun is, because it was a series, we got to sit down and plan all the book covers so they all have a beautiful synergy to them. And Buddy did awesome. He had 34 hot new releases and 32 #1 bestsellers in 4 countries. So that's amazing. And this one is our latest.
Yeah.
Suki Jeffers was just Wednesday, and so a week ago today, and she had such an amazing live book launch party, which I got to attend, and her book was incredible. And now she's going to we did the ebook, and now she's going to bring out the print book and really use it as a tool for her coaching business.
And the thing about, about her book was that, we did it over a short period of time, but through the technology that we use, in a matter of a day, her book was already landing on #1 before we actually started the official launch of it. It was already there, and it launched as an ebook. So you don't necessarily have to launch your first book as a paperback or hardback. You can launch it as an ebook, and now she's generated so much success off of the ebook. Hey, I might as well go to a paper book. And plus, it's the fun, Natalie, of writing a book, and then you have your launch party. So it's not like, okay, my book is out. No, you have a launch party, and I know hey, listen, I'm upset because you had a chance to go to the live launch. She had it in her new home. She had friends over, and hey, take a moment, tell me about what happened so I can get jealous again.
Yeah. Well, the amazing thing is she did it partially online, and then the people that were live got to see her live, and she read out of her book. She read a chapter, and one of her most difficult chapters too. And I'm not going to get into what she went through. You'll have to get her book and see. But this is an amazing lady that has gone through a lot and talks about how to come through your fear and have the courage to rise up and do something amazing. And she works with predominantly women that are thinking about retiring, maybe not having a passion for life and looking for a new direction. So, yeah. And then Mr. Randy Blake, I mean, he had an amazing book come out. How long ago? But
was June.
June. Okay, well, 4 months ago. That seems like yesterday. But yeah, so he's doing a podcast. He was just on a podcast last night with Buddy. So I can't wait to hear that one.
And he started his coaching business. So this is another great example of people that want to do public speaking. Podcasts, or being on a podcast, just like we have a weekly podcast, helps to improve our speaking abilities. But when you now have a book, you have people that want to interview you about your book. Randy is a 5-time world kickboxing champion. So he's like a celebrity, and his book is out. So he's having all these coaching opportunities, paid coaching opportunities, that before he put his book out, he was just another guy, kickboxer, and everybody goes, oh, you're a kickboxer. They don't do that anymore. Now they go, oh, you're Randy Blake, the guy that wrote the book. Boom.
Right.
So, and again, look at we come back to the revenue part, because, if someone says, well, I'm not really interested in the money. That's okay. Give it away. Give it to charity. You don't have to deal with it. But if you can produce something that a lot of people want to read, and, Randy is a world champion, and the mindset it takes to become a world champion, if you can take that mindset and then put it into a business, you're guaranteed to have a successful business.
Yep, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we've been known for, is looking at someone, hearing their story, taking their story and their passion, putting it into a book and using it as, I don't want to say a client magnet, but attracting the right people that you want to look at or to work with, because not everyone is made to work with everyone. So you want to attract the right people. And that's what we do through our keywords, our different categories that we place your book in, is attracting those people, not just, someone that you may get their attention, but it's not the right person that you want to work with. Do you know this guy?
Oh, hey, my publicist, Jim T. Chong, the man. Dan, that's another part. As we go through each of these frames, we may have to cut some of them short, because once we start getting here and start talking about them, it sort of really goes. But Jim is my publicist. He's a publicist for Elite Publications. If you're a self-published author and you don't have someone on your team to help you market your book, when you finish selling to your 12 family members, that's the end of your book journey. So you got to have a publicist. You got to have a team of people that help you plan. That you don't want that energy of the book releasing one day, then it dies on you, and you're not able to get that wheel moving anymore on your book. You want to have someone to be able to help you, to be able to do that, to be able to help you book interview spots, to help you get job interviews, to help you make the connections. In fact, Jim helped me make a connection today with Muhammad Ali's his second wife,
Former wife,
and she's going to be actually a part of one of my book series. So just from that's what Jim does.
Yep, he's phenomenal. He's the walk star.
The walk star.
All right. Do you want to talk about Marvin?
And we have Marvin King, and Marvin is one of our authors. He has a book out all about coaching and the art of being well. So he has a great book.
All right, and Mr. Robert, we just
Robert Nichols earned a black belt in an average a guide to life. So Robert has a great book out. So he's a number one Amazon bestsellers.
And Miss Yolanda Blake Cook. So this is such a precious children's book, and she's coming out with a coloring book very soon.
An activity book. So that so that's just a wide variety of the people we're working with. So we got the motivational authors, the guys doing the great thing of increasing motivation. We have the fiction authors. Now we have the children's authors who are doing books, children's books, coloring books, activity books. So, this is, hey, listen, I love my job.
Right.
And Red DeFate, this was a great book here, and a real big shout out to Red, because Hunchy, because he wrote about his life story, military, police force, martial arts. He sort of rolled everything up into one. So a memoir is where you're really talking about your life and, being able to share that. That's the reason why, you have so many, Ancestry.com is so large, because everyone wants to know about their life. What happened? Who are my cousins? What happened? So writing your memoirs is a way to preserve your family, your information. your journey in life.
Absolutely. And sharing those traditions that families go through, or those trials and stuff, is something that generations can read and really enjoy, and look back and say, you know, that was my grandpa or my great grandpa.
And then we had Sean Hartley, and Sean did a great job of releasing his book. Sean is a children's coach. He's actually a police officer, a martial artist. And so he's tied all this up, and he's speaking all over the place. And his book has really been phenomenal. Another prime example, how deciding to become an author, how it can change your life. Oh.
And then this guy, he's written a couple books.
Well, I'll let you, I guess I'll talk about him. You know, Jessie Bowen, that is me. I have been totally blessed. Everything I do, I publish a book on. I was a former professional bowler, got a book out on bowling. Zen Bowling, the Psychology of Better Bowling at Duke University for 28 years. I've got meditation books, martial arts book. Whatever I am doing, I actually have a book. Of course, we have our new book coming out. Want to give a quick shout out. Okay, we picked the cover. The book is called God Forgives, Why Not You?
Mm-hmm. And that is such a needed topic right now. And
you're gonna have to talk about, I talked about myself, so you're gonna have to talk about Natalie McQueen.
All right. So this is me, Natalie McQueen, and I was in a couple compilation books. That's how I dipped my toes in. And even that, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to be an author. I was super excited to be a part of those books. And when you're part of a compilation, you really get to know the other people. You form friendships, and often ends up in some business together. And then a couple years later, I ended up having a near-death experience. And that's when I realized I needed to write my own book. So it's Gifts of Legacy, the ultimate blueprint for generations to enjoy.
And that's a good point.
Yeah.
You know, you had that big reasons of your why question. You experienced, you know, a near-death experience. And, you know, this is what we're talking about. Become an author. You've got stuff happening all the time. If nothing else, get it out of your system. Use your book to create a plan to change your life.
Absolutely.
And our guest today.
Yay! This is Lynn Sanders. I call Lynn a friend. She was a big part of inspiring me. We were in another book together, a compilation, and she helped me have the confidence to put my book out, and she was a big part in my editing. So
well, I'll tell you what, let's bring her on. We're going to stop the screen share. And everyone, if you're saying here, so what are they doing? Well, this is actually a video conference that we're doing. That's actually a part of our audio podcast also. So you'll be able to go to our Facebook page and check out our podcast and also our video podcast also. Hey, Lynn.
Hello, Jessie. Hello, Natalie. Great to be here.
Hi, sorry we went longer. We didn't realize that we had so many amazing authors to talk about.
That's okay.
But I'm so glad that we got to you. So can I give everyone just a little bit about you? So Lynn is the founder and CEO of Difference Makers Media, an award-winning creative writing and media firm. She's dedicated to creating and telling and sharing inspirational stories that make a positive impact in the world. And she's definitely helped me do that through my book. Lynn has been recognized as a best-selling author, coach, media host, publicity consultant, and the Make a Difference speaker, and the Global Blue Ribbon Ambassador. So thank you for coming, Lynn. We are so excited to hear all about you.
Thank you. So what would your audience like to hear most? Because you have, highlighted some wonderful success stories, and I have a lot to offer.
So I think one of the things is you work with people getting their story to light. And then some people, you even went further than that. and help them write their book and get it out to the world. So share a couple of your experiences.
Sure. Well, one thing I just want to say, and I wrote down the quote that Jessie's wife wrote, everyone has a story, you have to let it out. And I frequently say that the most important story is your inner story, having the faith, belief, and perseverance in your dream to get your story out into the world. So I have found that many times people have stories, as you know, and they just stay in our minds and our hearts, and we never get them out for various reasons. Maybe we don't feel we're good enough, the story is good enough, and we need to have a little nudge. I call it a story coach to help us. And I really love working with you, Natalie, in your book, and I was very, very impressed by your story of being able to survive in your death experience and recognizing the importance of leaving a legacy. I helped another author out there who wrote a wonderful book called The Wonderful Adventure of Loving Ourselves, a journey in healing, forgiveness, and love. And the way we worked, some people don't want to just write something and then get it edited. They have it in their hearts, but they don't know how to put the words on paper. Right. So in the case of Robert Kaufman, who published this best-selling book, Wonderful Adventure, Loving Ourselves, I interviewed him over a period of time, and we recorded the interviews. Then we had transcripts, and then I ended up going through the transcripts, writing out the important segments, and then I had him go back, review it, make changes, and we went back and forth. Yep. There's another book that I wanted to bring out that is very dear to my heart. Roland Takaoka was my wingman for 4 years when I did my Make a Difference program. And he had a third stroke, which paralyzed his whole right side of his body. He wrote a memoir with just one hand in the hospital and in rehab about his journey, and he never published the book. He sent me that manuscript in the computer, and I didn't think anything of it at the time because he never verbalized that he wanted to publish it. And when he suddenly passed away from a fourth stroke, I knew I had to publish it on his behalf. So I did crowdfunding, and I wrote a preface to the book and interviewed his wife for an epilogue and added a resource section. So there is a book out there now called Roland's Story, Inspired by a Stroke, and it's a memoir of hope, healing, and transformation. I've also written 2 children's books. One of them was a work for hire. That means that a publisher will just pay you a flat amount and you make no royalty. And I took that opportunity because I wanted the credit for this book. And it's a topic I dearly love. And you can find it on Amazon. It's called Social Justice, How You Can Make a Difference. It's for children ages 8 to 12 with how-to steps of what they can do to create a difference and create their own nonprofits. I also got to profile 5 different kids from around the world who are making a difference. And so I interviewed them and I wrote their stories into that book. One that's very near and dear to my heart that Natalie showed as a picture is the book called Dancing with Tex, The Remarkable Friendship to Save the Whooping Cranes. Now, Jessie has mentioned earlier that your book is like your calling card, which is terrific. It's more than that because people can get to know, like, and trust you from your story. Well, the book Dancing with Tex was inspired by my hearing a story on a video shoot back in 1995. I was the scriptwriter and co-producer for Amico's project where they were donating an outdoor whooping crane exhibit to show their international marketing managers they were doing something good for the environment. Off camera, their co-founder, George Archibald, told me this story that I could not believe. And he had never published it. So this was something that I took on my own. He told me he was friends with this rare whooping crane named Tex, who believed she was a person. And he danced with her for 6 years. Now, would you believe that if someone just said, you know, I said, come on, I thought he's got to be kidding. He danced with this bird for 6 years and thought she was a person. And then he said, all earnest says, yes, it's true, because the whooping cranes were on the verge of extinction. And this bird thought she was a person, and all the cranes do a mating dance before they lay an egg. So we got our scientists involved with artificial insemination, but we didn't say those words in the book. Right. We said special shots And he said it took 6 years, but the bird Tex actually finally laid a fertile egg, which hatched into a chick, and that chick hatched other chicks, and then ultimately that one little chick helped save the whooping cranes from extinction.
That's
So
amazing.
I thought, wow, I'm getting the goosebumps now. Isn't that a great story for kids to recognize their value? And so it took me a long time, a long time, because I had to have faith, belief, and perseverance in my own dream. And it almost got accepted by a traditional company who ran out of money. And I put the book aside in a folder. You know how we all do that? Like, well, maybe some other time I'll publish it.
Someday.
Except that if you have a dream in your heart, no one's going to make you do it. You have to do it on your own. You know that you have to propel yourself. And
Yeah.
Jessie, you know that. So one day my son just told me to forget the book. He said, just move on. You've had it too long. And I thought, you know what? He's right. Either I go forward or I forget it. It's not worth just keeping it in a folder. And so I did crowdfunding to raise the money, and I self-published that book, and it became a bestseller on Amazon and won an award from the Illinois Conservation Foundation. I was nominated as their 2017 Conservation Author of the Year. And I'm also a contributing author in a couple other anthologies as well.
Yeah.
But I just think there's nothing more important. I want to leave all you with this. There's nothing more important than getting your story out into the world, even if it's just for your family. My mother wrote me her autobiography at my urging over years. And when she suddenly passed away from a heart attack, I was just totally despairing because I had very little of her on video, but I at least had an 8-minute video, and I had this story of hers. And then I made my father sit for 2 hours. So I interviewed him on camera, and he wrote his autobiography.
Yeah.
Those are not out for the public,
Right.
except that it's for the family. So I advise everyone listening, whether you want your story out into the world or for your family, I think there is nothing more precious than leaving your legacy.
Absolutely.
And that's a great point. Leaving it for your family, your children. I mean, even myself, I'm going to Ancestry and searching, see, do I have any other family members that my leaf can touch, that I don't know about, that I don't know about, that wasn't shared to me. So therefore I cannot share it to my kids, and they are not able to share to their kids. So when you now, write your memoirs, then that's a place to do that. And that's a great book, because it doesn't have to necessarily be up on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It can be your family book. It can be personal. Your kids can get together and say, we're going to write a book on our family. But we've already said, Lynn, you've been talking about a lot of life experiences that you've had and how you've taken this here to pen and paper. But you've also talked about, and I find a lot of people get to that place, well, I don't know how to write. But that's not a problem, because through technology, we can interview you. If it's just like with this Zoom program, take your transcript from that, and we can help you create your story. But you have to believe in your story, that it has value. You want to get it out, and you're willing to go take that step. And when you do that, doors will begin to open, and you have no idea where your story will go and what it will actually do. And I also like, you were talking about having a story coach, because there's a lot of would-be writers, they just don't know how to get started, or they don't know how to discover this real story that they have. They don't, well, I don't have a story. Everybody's got a story, and how it can impact. So if you've got a story coach, or you're with, you can come with a team, and they can hear your life, they can find your value. We all have value. And the problem is that we go through and we don't recognize that. And we're willing to carry that golden nugget to the grave and put it in the ground to never be dug up again. So graveyard is the richest place in the land because all the knowledge that was never passed on then never will be passed on. And we really, at Elite Publications and Natalie and with yourself, we don't want that to happen. That's the reason why everybody has a story. And all you have to do is get it out. And then you decide what you wanted to do. And then you leave it up to the experts to help you to get to where you want to be.
Yeah,
Right. I wanted to also reflect on something Natalie had mentioned, that sometimes it's nice to have a step before the book of being in an anthology. And we're thinking about creating a difference makers anthology of visionary leaders who are transforming our world. So you can step into any role you choose. So you can choose to claim yourself. Both of you are visionary leaders, and whoever's listening can choose the story of what they want to call themselves. So this would be a way where if you are overwhelmed with the idea of writing an entire book,
right.
You can be an anthology where you have limited number of words, and yet you still can get your story out. So
and
I would
even in that, even in that, Lynn, you could help someone get their story out, even if it was an anthology.
Right.
So the wonderful thing about anthologies is people like Lynn, people like that have a passion in the world or a group can put together an anthology. And we're actually going to do a special talk on that coming up, because people don't realize that you can use an anthology not only to make a powerful book, but it can be used as a fundraiser. It can be used as a method to make a nice profit. If you do it right, you're giving these people an amazing chance to be in a book, meet other powerful people, usually in their field or that have commonalities. And then you put this message out to the world. So you're blessing people with the stories. And often making a huge difference when the impact of those stories come together. And, really, there's been some anthologies, and we've got some amazing ones coming up. And Lynn, the ideas and stuff that we talked about yesterday, so powerful. And I know you would be an amazing person to work with, because I've worked with you. And completely heart-centered and just so patient and a lot of fun.
Likewise, like attracts like. So thank you.
Well, this has been a great podcast today. We really hope that, everyone has gained something from there. We have taken the opportunity to talk about Authors Day and National Authors Day that is real. And you can be a part of it. Every year you can celebrate it. We've introduced you to some of the people that we have published and that we're publishing, not just authors. They chose what level they wanted to be an author on. What we do is to make it happen for them. Some of them wanted to write their book, but wasn't interested in becoming international best-selling authors. Some of them wanted to write their books so they could enhance their coaching business. Some of them wanted to write their books. That's like with Lynn, they had this huge message that a large audience would want to be able to know. So whatever level that you want to be on, we can be able to support that. But I would really encourage everyone, if you keep a journal is a book. If you're not journaling, start journaling. Keep a track of your daily life. If you're in the business of goal setting, then write a book on goal setting. I believe wherever I am and what I'm doing, there has to be a book. When I decided I was really serious about getting married, I wrote a book on relationship rescues and how to be able to save relationships so that I would be able to be better prepared for my next relationship that I was in. I wanted to be. So if you're serious about wanting to be in a serious relationship, you should study what it takes to be in a relationship so you can so it's not a one and done, or, okay, I tried it, didn't like it. Maybe you need more information on it. So there's so many ways. Lynn, any final words from you?
Yes, I would love to share a final message, and that is that we all make a difference and we get to choose what kind of difference we want to make. So make them positive ones. The world needs your stories.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I challenge everyone out there. We've got 1 year minus 1 day for the next National Authors Day. How many of you will be new authors that we can celebrate next year?
All right, everyone, you've heard that from Natalie. You know, we challenge you to step up to the plate. We guarantee you, we can help you find your story, help you market your story, and help you become, and build your brand and help bring revenue into your life, into your business, wherever you are actually working from. That's a guarantee. We guarantee we can make you an Amazon #1 best-selling author. So, want to know more about what we're doing? Then go to www.elitepublications.org. Again, that's www.elitepublications.org, or shoot us an email, and that's info@elitepublications.org. And hey, my number is already floating in the universe. Hey, pick up the telephone, give me a call, shoot me a text, 919-618-8075. Everyone, this is Jessie Bowen saying be blessed. And Lynn, thank you again for coming on, sharing with us. Hey, Natalie, hey, listen here, we got some more folks tomorrow. We got the interview we got to deal with, because guess what they want to become? They want to become elite authors. And the last thing, do you like our shirts? And you're on our podcast audio, you probably cannot see our shirts, but our shirt says Elite Publications. When you sign and become an author with Elite Publications, we send you your own polo shirt that says Elite Authors. So you got to, if you don't have an elite shirt, you don't have a shirt.
There may be some bling ones for the ladies
coming. Oh yeah. Now listen, Natalie's going to get creative. We're going to have the bling bling Elite Publication shirt. When people will have to ask them, do you want the Elite Publication shirt or do you want the bling bling Elite Publication shirt? Everyone, this is Jessie Bowen saying be blessed. Thank you. Follow us, like us, check out our YouTube channel. Let us know if you have a question. Remember, let us know. Email us info@elitepublications.org. If you have a question you'd like for us to answer, because someone else may be having the same question, shoot me an email. We'll get it on our podcast and we'll get it answered for you. Hey,
thank you,
take care.